Well, that was I had known Basie because having worked with Ella, when I first started working with her, it was the Duke Ellington Orchestra, Oscar Peterson and Norman Granz presents and Ella Fitzgerald. Then they started using the Basie group. Well, we used to be on, and Oscar would open, and Basie and I used to tease Oscar, said, leave some piano for us to play by the time we get out there, you know, because, I mean, Oscar was like an animal then, see? And so I had known Basie, but heaven forbid, never thought I'd ever get the chance to play piano in that band. And this was 1978, right here in this city, in San Francisco. Ella was opening at the Fairmont Hotel, and I had written some arrangements, and I was taking them up there for her to do for rehearsal. So she said, well, have you had chicken pox? I said, I think so. She said, well, Basie's in the hotel, and the band is leaving for Portland, and they need a piano player, and can you make it? I said, well, I mean, I'll go up and see Bass and see what I can do. So I went up to the room. First thing, he opened the door, that cigar and those big eyes, said, have you had chicken pox? I said, I think so, Chief. Well, we used to call him the Chief all the time. So he said, well, look, the band left at 4 o'clock. This is around 4:30, 5 o'clock. He said, the band left for Portland. And he says, I need a piano player. And he says, you're it. I said, well, Chief, okay, go. He said, I'll go home, pack, and I'll get you your plane ticket or what have you. So I said, well, what kind of uniform is the band wearing? What are they wearing? He said, what the hell do you care? You're the new leader. Get on out of here, you know. See? So that's how I joined the Basie band. He was sick here in the Fairmont Hotel. Then he went home with chicken pox. That was 78. Then I was working for a living in those days for change, and I was and I retired from the government. May 19th, 1980. And I retired. They wanted to transfer me back to Washington, D.C. I didn't want to go back. It's too cold and shoveling snow and tires and that stuff. So I retired, and I didn't have the slightest idea what I was going to do. So driving back to my office in Burlingame, I heard Paul Harvey say that Basie had a heart attack in Chicago. Well, I knew the hotel where most of the guys stayed in Chicago, and I said, well, I'll call him when I get home, because didn't have, answering machines and what have you those days. So when I got home, Basie somehow or another had got the phone and got me. He said, where in the hell you been all day? I said, well, Chief, I just retired. He said, well, you now just hired. So he said, get your, so-and-so on here to Chicago. So that's when I stayed, what I would do. If he felt like playing, he would come out and play. Some nights he'd play the whole night. And if he didn't feel like playing, he would come out and play maybe the opening tune and disappear. All people wanted to do was see him. And then I'd play. Or he'd call me up in the hotel room and said, we had a tune. You ever played a tune, You Got It, Basie Band? Yeah, it was 386 was the number. He said, yeah, 386. Took me a while to figure out you got it tonight, baby. You're it. So that's it. And God, this guy was a jewel. I mean, I learned so much from him just sitting backstage, just talking to him. And one of the little stories he's telling, like Fred was talking about a little while ago, he says, with this band, learn all the introductions, because this is where they know what tune to play, see? So then I said, where's the music, Chief? He had it all in his head, so I had to go out and buy all the records and sit down and copy everything and learn it. And then he said, now, watch what you were saying about the dancers. He said, watch, if you're playing dances, what they're doing, take 4/4 time and put it on roller skates and let it grind, let it glide. So that was it. And he said, we would be sitting at the record dates, and he used to sit it right by my left hand. And he'd tell me, no left hand now, I'd get that cigar going, no left hand, don't get fancy, get your Oscar Peterson bag going, none of that. See. So he told me, he says, now remember, it's not how many notes you play, it's how many you don't play. And I thought about that, it makes a lot of sense.